Brian with Q&A and all that. So.
Thank you very much. We've mostly taking questions from the fans here. Hello, I'm Jason Berry. I did host a Sonic Talk panel earlier at 12 noon. If you missed that, consider yourself lucky. It wasn't that great. All right. And here we have the 4 fabulous writers from Sonic Boom Seasons 1 and 2. And I guess the first question off, which I'm sure everyone wants to ask, is will there ever be a 3?
Will there ever be a season 3? Well, as many of you know, we at this point are not involved with Sonic Boom if there is a season 3. So it's really up to Sega to announce what the plans are for the future. I know there are Sega people running around here, so maybe if you see any of them, perhaps Jasmine or Aaron, they might have an answer for you. We're technically not allowed to answer because we're no longer involved.
All right. I guess so. We'll just talk about the past 2 seasons as it was. Out of the episodes that you guys have written yourselves, which one was your favorite, and which one were you a little disappointed?
I know that the ones that I've written, Family wrote, I'm a co-writer on the 4-part. But my favorite episode is Nutwork, and my least favorite episode is Buster.
We all agree. I don't think any of us like Buster.
Nobody likes Buster. For me, I'm going to go with Return of the Buddy Buddy Temple 2, just because of the mech suit fight at the end. And least favorite is just any scene with Gil the Fish in it. Just delete it. Also, I'd like to point out the deepest, darkest 3 questions get a copy of Sonic Boom number 11.
So yeah, Buster. No, forget Buster. And then my favorite episode, maybe I'm thinking from season 2 at least, is Planes, Trains, and Dude-Mobiles. That one, along with Sticks and Amy's Excellent Staycation. We kind of did 2 episodes that like crossed over each other, and I like playing with that.
Yeah, I like the 4-parter, the Robots from the Sky 4-parter. If that's 4 episodes, then I'll say part 2 of that. But I don't know. It's 1 hour long experience. That's probably my favorite.
I was thinking of
Well,
that.
and Buster. Buster.
What was it like writing a 4-part, little mini epic compared to just your 11-minute shorts?
It was. I preferred it. I like that we had time to write a bigger story and have a lot of action, because writing an 11-minute story is kind of truncating a lot of that into the available time. So I like having the time to kind of explore a little more.
Yeah, it's something I wanted to do since season 1. The nature of how our show is sold around the world required it to be individual episodes. It's just, some shows are individual episodes, some shows aren't. This particular show was supposed to be individual episodes, but we really wanted to do something a little bigger than that. So we got permission from various people to do the 4-parter and the 2-parter, and we actually, the 4-parter was a 3-parter. And then everyone said, well, let's make it a 4-parter so it could be a standalone little mini-movie. And we reconfigured the entire story to add a little bit more here and there to make it the little mini-movie that it was. It was something I wanted to do from the beginning, and it was something that we all really enjoyed.
Yeah, and picking up what Bill was saying about how he had to kind of move things around to make it so that there were 4 parts. If I remember correctly, Bill, you had a solid idea for 3 parts, and then so parts 1, 3, and 4 had really kind of a concrete framework, and then we kind of had to figure out what part 2 was, which I think is why Alan said it was his favorite.
Yeah,
because it was our chance to really go let's just cram this episode full of action and just fill in a couple key points to kind of connect the dots.
We had gotten permission to do this before we started season 2, and because some people had wanted it, some people internally, and fans had wanted something in their heart. And I kind of came up with the 3-parter version of it while I was in France, meeting with the studio, the animation studio. And they were a little concerned that it would be too ambitious. So we talked it through, and we were able to come up with something that everyone felt was a really worthwhile thing to do.
Yeah, speaking of season 2, it seems like did the company, like say, give you guys a little bit more freedom with season 2 compared to season 1? It did seem to be even bigger and more improved, I think, than the first season. It seems like you guys were able to jab at like both the fan base and Sonic himself a little more.
Well, I think it wasn't so much that we got it was loosened up or we got permission, so much as we found our groove. And Sega, found the groove too. And so we were all kind of on the same train finally, trying to, because when I started on the show, it had been in development for a while, and 10 episodes had already been written. And then, there were some changes. And so those 10 episodes I inherited, and we did rewrites on them, but it was a couple of different voices, blended together. And so by the time we got to season 2, we had a shakedown cruise, and we had said, these are the things we like. We had a big meeting in France, a meeting I was telling you about. A lot of the Sega people were there, a lot of the technical animation people were there, and we all kind of, at that point, we knew there were some things we wanted. We wanted more action. We wanted some different kinds of things. We talked about at that meeting adding Blue Force 1. We talked about the racing episode at that point. And there were a couple of other ideas that came out at that meeting, and so we kind of knew from the beginning. It wasn't really an arc for the whole 52 episodes, but we were all on the same train going in the same direction. In season 1, we started in one area, and we kind of were finding our footing, which happens in a show. And season 2, we were firing on all this.
Yeah, I think also season 1 we wrote the entire season before. By the time the first episode aired, basically the whole season had been written, and so we also weren't as involved with the fan community at that time, and so we kind of picked up on you guys a little more. Kind of, when we all got on Twitter, all kind of got in on the fan community, and so a lot of those in-jokes that popped up in season 2 were once we had the time to kind of delve more into those references and stuff, and actually become familiar with it.
That's true. I mean, I'm imagining how many in the hundreds did you get of like Son Amy fan requests and stuff?
Son Amy, what's that?
What's it like to work on, like, I guess this is mainly for Bill, to work on a licensed cartoon as opposed to something that's more of an original property?
Well, anything you work on, obviously, although in this era, you can literally do something yourself and put it on YouTube, and then you don't have to answer to anybody. But in the real world, even if it's not a licensed thing, you sell it. There's a network, there's a studio, and they all have input. In the case of a licensed thing, they have a little more input because they're not just. I'm just thinking about my show, and I'm thinking about what I want it to be. They're thinking about what came before. What's going to come after? If you do something, does it hurt us? If you do something, are we locked into it? That was kind of a bigger thing. It's like, this idea of canon, which in television, and in my experience in television, is not as big a deal as it is to the fans, or as it is to something in a video game. So what happens is, I'm not necessarily concerned with canon because Sega theoretically could still do something different than what we did. And this is the canon of Sonic Boom TV show. It's not even the canon of Sonic Boom video game. So what happens is, when you're dealing with them, those questions come up and are very important to make sure you're not doing something crazy with the characters. You're not showing Sonic shooting someone with a gun, which is, even if Sonic Boom is a different universe and a different thing, that would be wrong for the character no matter what. So you can't do stuff like that. Then there's the stuff when we did the race car episode. Sega wanted the cars in the show. We kind of liked the idea. I had my friend who wrote it, who was a huge, NASCAR fan, in the 500. So he was really into racing. Sega wanted it, but then internally at Sega, there's also a concern. Why does Sonic need a car? So, which makes sense. He runs faster than he drives.
It shows up with every racing game that ever comes out and stuff like that.
So what we did was they were all being goofy with Dale's machine, and they were all making these crazy cars. So then it was just logical to race, and it suddenly didn't matter that Sonic could run faster than all the cars because this was specifically about a car race. And then we cheated a little because it's Sonic, and had it at the end he can drive it with pedals and still be the fastest guy. You know, so that was kind of an inside joke, but at the end he still uses his foot power.
And during the show, you guys come up with a lot of your own little characters, villagers that came in and everything. And I know there's no attachments to some of them. Which of the villagers do you think would be deep enough to get like their own spin-off cartoon?
Dave the Intern. Yeah. Ultimate answer. And of course, Comedy Chin. Right? I think like a late night show.
Yeah, do Space Ghost Coast to Coast, but with comedy chimp
and Wolf Sidekick.
and Wolf Sidekick. That's what we need. We need more comedy chimp.
You can do a Gil the Goldfish show to put children to sleep.
How dare you?
I have irritable bowel syndrome.
Twice he said that. Wasn't even enough to say it once.
Well, technically, the second time he said, "I told you." I had
Much better.
it was a call.
Comedy, that's what we call a callback in comedy.
What's the toughest part in writing comedy?
Being funny.
I was just gonna say that.
Like, sometimes I've done fan works and other things with my own comedy writing, and I find that doing drama parts is more challenging because you're used to doing it in a light-hearted mode. You guys feel that like that? Like if there's anything that's, like say the Shadow, episode where it's a lot more darker in there. But is that a little harder to do on drama, or I don't know?
Comedy is drama with jokes, so you got to do all the work of drama and have jokes.
All right, and
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, it's harder because if you're funny, the jokes, at least you know you have the jokes. So, it's drama. It's like, to me, in the writing process, the outline is the toughest part because it's all the work with none of the fun because you're not writing the jokes. You're just saying this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens.
Yeah, I kind of feel like comedy, it's not necessarily easier, but sometimes I read a script that's not a comedy, and I just can't tell if it's any good because I just base all my knowledge on how many times that I laughed per page. And it's like, well, if there's no funny, then I can't decipher if this is any good. Yeah.
all right, so we know it seems like this two seems to wrap up. It's doubtful ever getting a third. What of this experience did you feel that you got the most out of?
Well, for one thing, editing a show 208 times really taught me a lot about storytelling. And being in there and breaking stories, that taught me a lot about how to craft a script.
Yeah, I think for Greg and me, this was our first time as staff on a show. It was sort of boot camp because we were involved in every story, breaking every story with Bill, going through every script as they came in, and we got to go to the record sessions and watch our director direct the entire cast, and then we're on Bill's case, as he's pestering him to show us edits of them. And so I think the most valuable part for us, or for me, was kind of just, seeing how a show gets made and kind of hanging around at every step to try to be present for them.
Seeing as there doesn't seem to be like there's going to be a season 3 anytime soon, is there any story ideas that you had thought of that you couldn't use? There's one I know of that when
when the season finale, we were not happy that it was only a one-part episode. We felt it needed to be expanded because it was just too much in there. And we had to let one go, and it was Eggman marries Lady Walrus for Hermione.
Didn't happen, guys. It's not canon. Yeah, it's in our head canons. Another one that Alan and I. Oh, you want to talk about the other? I don't know. What do you guys? I don't know which one. If we're allowed to talk about that. I was going to say there was one that Alan and I. It was called like the story of Eggy McGee. And it was Eggman writes a children's book where Sonic is the villain, and then all the children of the village like start revering Eggman, and then Eggy McGee, and then they end up like working in some sort of factory. There was a reason it didn't happen, but still, I wouldn't have minded.
Okay, we're ready for questions from the audience. If anybody wants to.
Let's form a line.
If we can form a line.
Right down the center of the aisle.
Yeah, right there.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to pick every other person. So the line really still doesn't mean anything.
All right.
Okay. Two questions, one for Dark Thing and one for Zeus. Does Sonny have an off screen?
Okay.
Ooh, that's dark.
What's your name? Kevin Reyes. Okay. My dark question is going to be, what is Tommy Chip's real name and how old is he?
No, the other one was the dark question.
Comedy Chip's real name is Comedy Chip.
How old is he?
That's kind of the way this universe works for some strange reason.
So, Joe.
Old monkey is old monkey. He's old. Right, even when he was a kid, he was old monkey, I guess. Really? Yeah, because as I've said many times, if you don't see it in the show, there's no answer to the question. You know, and I'll explain.
That's it. We'll still answer questions.
Yeah, I'll explain why, because you don't want to lock yourself into anything by, like, if I decide and I tell the fans that his real name is Horatio, just off the top of my head, and then someone were to come up with a story where Comedy Chimp has this very specific name that makes the story work, and they pitch it to me, I say, oh, that's great, but I already told someone this other thing, and I don't want to get a million emails. So a lot of our rule was nothing exists until it's on the show. Okay. And that's kind of always been the rule of the show.
Was that your answer for Sonny too?
Yes, if you don't see it, it doesn't exist. Oh no, let me say that. I'm gonna change that too. If you don't see it, there's no answer we can give you.
Okay, well, I do have one question I thought of. I guess it's supposed to go for both Lady Wars or Vanilla from the games. Does Lady Wars have post-mortem depression? Postpartum, because that little baby is always almost getting killed.
It's my baby! No, I think that...
it's almost like a setup, you know.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? It's she's just not a very good parent. It's not that she's trying to hurt the kid. It's just she's oblivious. That's kind of the difference. It's more a problem with her than it is with postpartum depression. Any other...
All right, I'm going to attempt on the dark question challenge. So, my question is Comedy Chimp's routine and trying to be funny an escape from a depressing life? Is it?
Is that a dark question? That to me is just, that's every comedian. Oh no, he has a very sad life. He talks about his divorce. He never has money because he has a gambling problem. Yeah, he has a very sad life.
Now, didn't we talk about like Comedy Chimp's Christmas special, The Year His Wife Left Him?
Yes. That was one of the jokes in it. Yeah, this is more depressing than Comedy Chimp's Christmas special, The Year His Wife Left Him. I gotta fire my agent.
It's holidays.
It's holiday special. There's no Christmas, right? In this world.
Just like there's no life day. What's your name?
Dan.
Sorry?
Dance.
It's gonna be the first 3 questions.
Yep.
Okay, who's got the next question for Comedy Chimp?
I have 2 questions. One, is Comedy Chimp secretly a drag queen?
That was just a bad job his agent got him. Playing the Sonic sketch for Tails in what was previously my first episode, my favorite episode, Tails Crush, which was replaced by Nut Run. Tails Crush was my favorite episode, season 1. And no, he just, he gets very bad jobs and has to take them. He always needs money.
And 2, why does everyone hate pants? Is there
Is everything like
why does everyone hate pants? What's wrong with pants? They broke up to moving shorts. Oh, everything.
I think that's just like a cartoon thing, right? Like a lot of cartoon characters don't wear pants, including all of the Sonic universe. So.
And we just like to break the fourth wall.
What's your name?
Jade.
Oh, that's it.
Jade.
Yeah, Jade.
What's that?
Was that the drag queen question?
That's for the drag queen question. That's all of them. That's the first 3 questions.
All right, next.
Go.
2 questions. One, how did you guys feel about Vector being in the show?
We loved it. It was great. We thought we came up with a great story for him. I mean, that's one of the issues with the classic characters is what are we going to do with him? Will it be beneficial to us, and will it be faithful to the character otherwise? And we really felt with Vector, we did something different with it. We had a reality show, but it was completely within character. He's doing it for the money, and he basically is a detective, and we just kind of changed it, and we found a way that he is solving the crime, but Sonic is a big part of it, and they're a little competitive, but in the end they work together. So I thought it was just a really, really good story to tell with Vector, so we did it.
Yeah, and then regarding Vector, we also get a lot of questions like why aren't other characters showing up on the show? And it's really just a matter of did the higher ups tell us who to use? Vector was like an approved character where they said, yeah, you guys can use this character, and so we did. And same thing happened with Shadow and Metal, and I think if they came to us and said to put any of the other characters, we would have happily found places.
It was fun to put the characters in. But it's also a burden because you do have to be more true to the character. The main 5 characters, because the nature of our show was what it was, and it was a comedy show that was pitched that way, we had a little leeway. But to bring other characters in, they really weren't part of this universe, and so to make the same kind of fun and the same kind of jokes was a little tougher. I mean, Shadow was not a character we wanted to make fun of. Shadow, in a way, he would lose who he is, and he would lose what was special about him if we did that. And the same thing to a degree with Metal. So Vector was fun because we could give him words, and we could really do what was a fun thing to do with him.
2, did you guys enjoy doing main 4 stories and connecting original songs and movies to the titles of the episodes and was the original song Alone Again Naturally and then Alone Again Unnaturally?
Yeah. Well, we're all we like to kind of take in all kinds of media. I mean, we grew up in front of televisions and going to movies and listening to music, so all that stuff was inspirational to us. So it just kind of came naturally when we would reference things, or we would reference things in the titles. It was really just because that was something that jumped into our head. It was something that excited us. It was our version of it was our fandom coming out for all those things.
Yeah, it's basically if something's in the show that's supposed to be funny, it's because we think it was funny. It made us laugh in the room. When someone pitched it, we all laughed, or when someone wrote it in the script and we read it, we liked it. So the show, I think, really reflects our humor and our storytelling. So yeah, I just find a lot of that very funny.
Thanks.
before I ask my question, I am so sorry.
Here we go. If you make any more comments, though, this is going to be done.
I understand that you guys don't sit Sonic and Sadie can, but what about Sonic and Sadie? Anybody?
Sonic X Eggman.
Yes.
I mean, they definitely have a weird relationship.
No.
But nothing like that.
They have an odd relationship because there would not be a lot for Sonic to do if Eggman wasn't around, and Eggman needs Sonic's attention for some reason.
Maybe Eggman's got a little crush on Sonic.
That's creepy doll, right? You said it so I can say you're a candy.
It's official. No, it's on the wiki. It's on the wiki, guys. It's too late.
You know, I gotta say, it's like when, and this gets a real reach here, when adults tell kids that, oh, the kid is hitting you is because he probably likes you. That's a very bad message to send. And I think the idea that Eggman is poking at Sonic because he secretly likes him is the same kind of thing. It's not true. Eggman's poking at him because he's a villain and he's trying to prove himself as a villain. Nothing else going on there. At least not in Sonic Boom. I can't speak for the rest.
I have one other question. This is a serious question, not like a sleepy joke one. How was it, because I understand that the fandom isn't particularly too fond of Sonic Boom, how was it dealing with that?
I don't know that that's true. I think a small vocal group just hate everything.
You're not wrong.
But in general, I mean, look, there's a nice Sonic convention, and we pretty much filled the room. So I think the fans do like Sonic Boom and have liked Sonic Boom and enjoy it. But most people have better things to do than to whine online. And, it's a weird thing when people, I challenge any of the people who criticize, write a better one. Create a better Sonic show if you don't like this one. Because this doesn't ruin anything. There'll be another Sonic show that's more serious. Maybe there'll be another Sonic show that's a comedy. But the point is, you got to judge the show on its own values, for what it is. And I think, I come here, the reason I come to this convention every year, and I think we all do, is because the fans are great. The fans are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a very, very small, whiny group that does all of the complaining.
Why does it have to be a 1-point episode?
That's a complex issue that has to do with selling it around the world and how different countries package the show. And it's something that was going in sell. And I think partially because it's a comedy. The comedy cartoons very often, not always, and they certainly let us do a couple of multi-parts. But the comedy cartoons, people are more used to seeing them as individual episodes and not having an arc. So we followed that formula. Does that make sense?
It makes it easy also if you're tuning in, if you never saw the show before, you just tune in, you watch an episode, you don't need all the context of what the whole show is, you just go like, oh, here's a little story.
I saw the show before.
I'm glad you did. Did you like it? Great.
Still on Hulu.
I have a question
I'm not
for Mr. Bill Farber. I'm actually really good audio. Sonic.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you over the booze. And I'm not talking about the people reacting here. I'm really drunk.
Sonamy, Sonato, Sonales,
The only thing I ship is Lady Walrus and Henchmen.
Oh my god!
Excuse me?
Well, tell us.
Yeah, you're right. I like
That's
Ken.
not shipping, that's canon.
I go for Sonic Doll Amy.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing creepy about it. I thought we made that clear.
Not creepy. She keeps around for legitimate reasons.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's always good to see you.
Well, I guess without season 3, I'm just gonna fall into sadness and despair. But that's not your fault.
That's our lives.
And that's okay. So my question.
You're now a comedy writer.
So my question is like, what inspired you guys to write Go-Go Bus or whatever? Those guys are
The Go-Go were actually one of the scripts I inherited. That it had already been written when I came on board. But unlike a lot of the fans, I immediately fell in love with them. I just thought they were, I just thought their take on the world was so funny. And they just became very handy in certain situations, just for a pop-in joke or something. And then, of course, in the Buddy Buddy Temple of Doom, it made it perfect for us to be able to do that story because we had these Go-Go already.
Yeah, I like having Go-Go with some people. We're just like back and forth.
We're related to a lot of Go-Go Buzz.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a question for the audience for a second. Have any of you seen the musical number where Eggman, they found out Eggman was the official rocker? Okay, how many of you know the reference that song is? the reference from the movie that song was from.
He said it.
Yeah, it's
I heard it over here.
Yeah, it's actually, I actually had to YouTube that to find it because I didn't know too much about Bye Bye Birdie, so I was actually shocked about that. Whose idea was that for Bye Bye Birdie?
That was a room discovery.
I think originally Greg was the first one to mention Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah, I was in Bye Bye Birdie in middle school, so.
Yeah, and then we pulled up the video, and then then Sam ran off with and wrote the script.
Why does everybody look different but Shadow?
Look different from what? Each other?
Nobody changes Shadow.
I know Shadow is boomified, just not quite as much as the others. But yeah, just the way Vector looks very much like Vector, but still has some boom qualities. Excuse me? Right. Because we do really want to play up the detective aspect of it. So we didn't.
Headphones make sense for that.
Yeah, headphones would make sense for that. But no, I think that some of the characters, we had a lot of time to design the main characters and to think about differences. Then a style was created and other things were brought in, and they had to match that style. Shadow, we were able to bring, because we'd already done Sonic, and Shadow in certain ways is similar to Sonic. We kind of knew exactly how to bring him into Boom, and were able to do so, and so he didn't require as many changes, nor did Vector.
Also, all of the Sega employees skipped leg day.
Yeah, Metal Sonic, I think, was the one of the guest characters that changed the most. That was not exactly the way he was in the other stuff. But Vector and Shadow, I think, just were able to get the characters.
Hello.
Hi.
I actually wasn't a huge Sonic fan before, but my friend got me into this, and I really liked the whole interacting on Twitter and everything. I liked being able to interact with the creators and see kind of what's going on. And so I was wondering what you guys thought of that. Did you enjoy it, or is part of it? It wasn't certain people, but what did you think of being able to really interact while the show was going?
I mean, I signed up for a Twitter account because I got this job. I wasn't on Twitter before that. I know I enjoyed it because I've worked on other things that just air and nobody cares. Nobody talks about it and nobody cares. And so I liked that so many people cared. I wanted to be able to show up and tell them what the references were, or just trade jokes and spread memes and stuff. I don't know. I like that. I like that Sonic fans care. They care a lot. I was all about it.
Yeah, and we know the show is at a weird time in the morning, it was really early. So it was like, we also felt like we gotta kind of help boost it. We wanted to promote it and talk about it and get people talking about it. And that's kind of why Alan and the rest of us were resharing memes and then just kind of interacting with the fans because it just helped boost it all up and kind of get conversation started.
Because like my friend and I just made it like a day like on Saturday to go get together and watch the show, and especially when you were doing and especially when you were doing like the live tweets during it, we had a lot of fun sitting together and tweeting, being able to like kind of watch it together. So we really liked that.
Yeah, that was like the live tweet things. That was just us. You know, we and some of the actors just sort of got together and said, let's do this. And so,
Yeah, I would say that I won't speak for anyone here, but and the actors as well. I think we all loved the show. We loved working on it. We were very proud of it, and we wanted to do the most we could to bring eyeballs to it. I mean, and again, when we did like the Twitter stuff, Ask Sonic Boom creators, and whatever, that's when the good fans came out. And they would interact with us. It was the ones that we talked about earlier who were a little problematic. They just would be off on their own thing. But when we went out and we were interacting with the fans, the good fans were the fans who were interacting with us. So it was always fun. It was always a great thing. I mean, there's still some fans that continue to message me, and I'm happy to talk to them, about what I can talk about.
Well, I love that you guys enjoyed it as well, because that was one of the new things that like brought me in from not really something before to actually really enjoy this.
it's really great to hear that. Thank you for telling us.
Yeah, I almost deleted my Twitter account today, but I'm not going to now.
You saved the Sam Freiberg Twitter account.
You may live to regret it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, I'm back.
Hello again.
I have a question. Let's take a trip back to early January. What are you guys' thoughts on Ugandan knuckles?
We know the way.
We know the way. No, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was funny at first, but people. I don't know that we have much more we can really say about it. It was. I thought it was a funny meme until it wasn't funny anymore. And now it's not funny, right, guys?
It's still funny.
Oh no, it's still funny. So I agree with that.
You know what it is? It's the 17 rapes on Sideshow Bob on The Simpsons, where it's funny and it's not funny because it's going on, and then it's really funny because it's going on. I think we're at about rape 12 now, so maybe it'll be funny again at some point. But you gotta always be careful when you're overdoing stuff and pushing too hard. Says the guy who rapes, talks about pants in the episode.
Alright, I have like tons of other questions. Can you guys reenact one of your favorite moments in Sonic Boom?
You beat Eggman's mech suit.
Biding my time.
I love that character. That character, the creepy guy in
Planes, Trains, and
Mobiles. That one, it was interesting because we had a nice character design for that. Goodbye, everything goodbye to Jasmine. We had a great design for that, and when the animation came back, the design was terrible. They had lost, for some reason, some of the creepiness, and the show ended up being pushed back a little bit because I wouldn't approve it. I said we gotta go back and fix this. But by the time it aired, I loved how creepy he was. I love that guy.
Alright, last question, but I'm gonna go back to it. Can you guys describe your favorite character from Team Sonic in 3 words?
Describe them in 3 words?
I'll go for a 6. On the money.
Knuckles, easy right jokes.
Eggman, a bit petty.
And Amy, sweet but scary.
Look at Bill Sonic, huh?
Well, it's already gotta go fast. What do you need?
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Hey, do you remember me?
Yes.
Good. So, what what usually like inspires you to write some of the episodes?
80s movies.
Okay.
What inspires us to make the episodes? I mean, each time it's a lot of pitches. You know, each episode is whittled down from, you know, Greg and I would be sending Bill documents maybe with 10 pitches. Maybe 1 or 2 of those would go. So we kind of just were throwing stories at the wall, and then they just keep getting chopped down. You know, that's kind of the boring answer. What inspires us is that we have to write 52 episodes this year. And so we keep throwing out stories, hoping that some of them will catch Bill's attention.
And I have ADD, so it's hard to catch my attention.
Same.
I would say, there are 2 things I really like. It's what would the character do in that situation? It's like, good stories come about when a character wants something. They have to need something or want something, and then there are obstacles to getting it. The other thing is I love to satirize things. So sometimes we're doing movie parodies, but other times, what I love about Nutwork is it's basically about an actual person who said that water is not a basic human right that should be prioritized. Who's the president of Nestle's. And we took that, we gave that villainous idea to Eggman without changing it. And so that, one of the reasons I love Nutwork is because it parodies that guy, it parodies the media, it parodies, it started out as, this is yours, so like Alex Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted Sticks to be Alex Jones. I thought that would be really funny.
There is a YouTube video of that, by the way. Sticks with Alex Jones' voiceover.
Really?
Wow.
I gotta go out and find that. That's fantastic. Because that's what we were doing. We were, in the end, because Sticks was our character, and we had to make sure that, you know, however misguided she was, she came around.
They're putting chemicals in the water to make the hedgehogs gay.
Yeah, that's kind of where it started. But we had to rein it in a little bit. Not too much, fortunately, because Sticks is a great character. But we had to rein it in a little bit, and then it became a little bit more about selling out than it was. Originally, it was just really, she's Alex Jones, and she's a nut. And then we kind of reined it in.
Thanks.
I actually have 2 questions. The first one is, where did you get the idea of the episode where Tails uses the buzz bomber for a while?
That's from The Fly. It's a very long phone.
Oh. My second one is, considering about Katie having that Sonic doll, do you think she would use it for voodoo on him?
Never.
No, that's an illegitimate reason. No, she uses it for legitimate,
Purely
uncreepy reasons. Sure.
Purely legitimate, uncreepy reasons.
Thanks.
First, I just wanted to tell you that you guys actually got my friend into Sonic. Like, I've been a lifetime Sonic fan.
I'm sorry.
But I was watching Sonic Boom as the first season was airing, and so she asked about it, and she actually started watching it, and she's a big fan now. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And then the question I wanted to ask was, like, how much freedom did you guys have to kind of shape the main characters in Boom? Did you inherit kind of their personalities from Sonic Boom Rise and Lyric, or have you guys had more flexibility?
Not so much from Rise and Lyric. I mean, obviously, this is an evergreen property that needs to be protected, so we couldn't change the characters too much. In a way, these are my interpretations of what the original characters are. Sonic is cocky and sometimes doesn't look before he leaves. Amy, I didn't want the female character to just be, single white female. I kind of wanted her, and what I really think of that character is, as Greg said, she's the sweet one, she's the nice one, but do not mess with her. And I think she's the most formidable of all the characters. She's the one you really need to watch out for. I mean, Knuckles might be stronger, but Knuckles won't go in for the kill the way Amy will if you're screwing her friends. If you're a bad guy, she doesn't have a lot of patience. And so I took what was essentially there, because she has the hammer and she's has a weapon, she's an aggressor. I just kind of moved the love for Sonic down a little bit, and so she wasn't an obsessive person, but they clearly have something going on. And then I made her a warrior. Knuckles, because he was the big guy. The lead two, he thinks it's his team. He thinks Sonic's is his sidekick. All of that stuff, I think it's just extrapolating out of what was already there and making him dumb. There's a writer's rule: the dumb guy is your best friend at 3 in the morning. So we made him a little dumber. Styx was an original character. She basically is me. Styx always speaks the author's message. She's crazy, but then very often she's right. And Tails was an interesting one because I didn't want to make him just this little kid who just wants to hang out with Sonic. We gave him some depth of personality, and we made fun of him a little bit. I think all the characters make fun of him, but they still, it's like Sonic is his big brother. So he gives them a hard time, but no one else can really touch him. So I think they're all true to the original characters with our comedic and emotional spin.
So did you guys get to you guys were the ones who set up the personalities? Did you did you create the characters like that and then give it to the team that worked on the video games? Did you guys work together?
No, again, I came into the process late. They had sold the game and the show together, and then they needed a new head writer at some point. Yeah. Because they didn't have a head writer because they just had a bunch of scripts written to show, to say, here's what the show could be. And those were written. But then once the show got picked up, they needed someone to be the head writer. And that's when I came in, and I read a lot of the scripts. I said, I like this element, I don't like this element, I would change this. I think this story doesn't work 100%. And I kind of rewrote a lot of that stuff. And that's when the characters were formed. A lot of it comes from, certainly Styx was not a crazy survivalist, paranoid nut in the original scripts. She was this badger who had not, she had not been socialized. The backstory to her, to a degree, was she met Amy somewhere in the wilderness, and she had never met another person or character. And so she was going to be socialized. That's kind of where My Fair 60 comes from, and some of the other early episodes. I kind of took that and ran with it and made her a survivalist.
Yeah, and then regarding if you see similarities in Rise of Lyric, it's because that one was kind of worked the same way. Somebody had already written that script. They had that game mostly put together. Then they brought Bill and Alan and I in to kind of do a little polish to make it sound a little bit more like a
match the show.
So that's why Knuckles kind of hits the right dumb numbers in the game.
Thank you.
But I will tell you, the people who did Rise of Lyric, when we pitched the really dumb jokes for Knuckles, they didn't take them in. They kind of didn't want Knuckles to be as dumb as I wanted.
Wow. Thank you.
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Great.
So as a kid, I grew up watching The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the thing I love about that show so much is the humor of the show. And when I first started watching Sonic Boom, I noticed you guys had the humor really spot on with that. And I was just wondering what were some of the inspirations that you had for writing the humor and how to write the humor for the show.
For me, when I found out that I was going to be working on the show, I went back and watched a bunch of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And hugely inspired. I thought that show was so inventive and so funny.
When I see the Sonic Boom show, I see similarities to Adventures.
If you look at some of the Sonic Boom episodes, and there's a reference to Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, it's almost always Sam who put it in. It was like,
Snooping as usual, I see.
Yeah. Also, the relationship between Dr. Robotnik and Scratch and Grounder, and then our Dr. Eggman and Robot and Cubot, kind of a very similar thing where he has these two minions that he belittles and just drink blood, and they're still dedicated and loving toward him regardless.
One thing that I think that was problematic that I wanted to do but couldn't is I wanted to bring Scratch and Grounder in. Just in a background thing or just for one episode, but there were reasons that we couldn't do it. But that was the one thing I wanted to really call back to that series of Scratch and Grounder.
I would like to see polka dots.
Yes.
Spattering the bullets.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Well, good, a new person up here.
I can't guarantee it's going to be a long time, but okay, just follow this. Why is Eggman roleplay as Sonic? And two, who came up with that joke? Because it's gold.
That was when they switched brains, and he goes, "So I'm Sonic the Hedgehog," and always pretending he's Sonic again. Well, I'm not being Amy this time. Where did that joke?
That was my joke.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was one of those jokes. There's sometimes jokes that you pitch and you don't know if they're going to get in. And I pitched it, and I get to decide what goes in. But there are levels above me that have to approve it. So that was one, and the other one was the live action scene with Sonic and the outfit.
The trash can.
Was one. I remember I pitched that to the other executive producer, Evan Bailey, and I said, I don't think we could do this in a million years, but what about this? And he thought it was so funny that he fought for it and got it into the show.
We shot that at our house, by the way. That's like in our driveway.
Sam directed it. My friend from college's son was the camera.
Very high level operation.
Yeah,
and the costume was made by like a guy they found on the internet
the night before.
Okay, can you guys do your best impressions of Amy and Six?
I'm Stitch and I'm not Amy. I'm Amy and I'm not Stitch.
There you go, that was the best impression I could get.
It's fluoride in the water, don't drink it.
We're going to have a off line for T, just you four, and that'll be it for this
We'll
panel.
answer all questions at our table if you guys want to come and run us.
Except for me, because I'm going to Vegas.
So you four are the last four, but you can keep getting in line. Let's do this.
Okay. Does Amy have a body count?
I love that question. If
You're out of the dark comics.
That's a come to the table, I'll give you a comment. I don't, again, I always say, if you didn't see it in the show, there is no answer.
Okay. Why did you decide to make Knuckles larger and stronger?
We didn't make that decision. That was a character design
Don't you think he
choice.
was too small before?
Yeah, everybody just used the same sprite with a different head and color change. Now this is like a whole different character design. That makes them...
Again, that was all, before we all came on board, that was going back to the video game and the original people developing it. And I think going back even further, the nature of video games at the time Knuckles was created was all they did was take the Sonic sprite and make a few changes to it because that's all they could do with the technology they had. So this was kind of an opportunity to say, well, Knuckles is a strong guy, let's make him bigger and let's make him physically different from Sonic. So that's why that's when the decision was made, but again, it was before we all got there.
In fact, I'm willing to bet if they came up with Knuckles today, they probably would have just came up with a design more like that than the other one. Because again, it was a recolor. It was like, let's make some tweaks. That's because video games had limitations. And nowadays they could do everything.
Now they're better than
vectors. Now it's better than that. What is it?
Yeah, I think also one nice thing is just like with characters, especially on a TV show, it's easy if you can look at them and understand who they are just by looking at them. So again, with the design of Knuckles, you understand immediately, oh, he's a strong guy, because you can see him.
Alright, so my question is regarding the Justin Bieber and the boy bands episode.
Yeah?
Did Justin Bieber ever, the real Justin Bieber, actually come and like react to it or respond to you guys or say anything?
He has no idea.
You are so off his radar.
Alright, thanks.
And by the way, this is Justin Bieber. That has nothing to do with Justin Bieber.
Oh, okay. I don't think no connection.
Hey guys.
Hey.
My question is, was it really hard to like when like fans are keep asking you about like
oh, like, what about Sonic and Amy? Like, I know it's like for you guys, it's like, is it pretty hard to like, talk about that? Because I know you put it on your Twitter about that, so I'm just wondering, is it hard for you guys to like say, like, we don't want to do anything?
Please stop.
Yeah, please
But
stop.
Bill made those rules for engaging with him.
Yes, don't engage with me unless you're going to follow the rules. That's what I say. No, what it is we kept getting asked the same question, and the bottom line is sometimes you have to just look around and see what's going on, and clearly this is a bigger thing than if I get 50 people asking me the question, I'm going to put Sonic in. It's just the nature of this show was you're only going to see that relationship go so far. We're going to hint at it, we're going to joke about it, but there's not going to ever be a romantic episode. That's not what this show is. That's not what the characters really are beyond a certain point. And it's just, it's more wishful thinking than it is a realistic question. Because with a slight amount of common sense, you realize that we say this is something we can't do. Asking me about it, again, the answer's not going to change. And that's one of the problem areas with fandom, with the fandom of Sonic. One of the groups that are problematic are the people who don't look at the show for what it is, but want it to be the show that's in their head. And they all think the show would be so much better if they just did it my way, but what they don't realize is the guy right next to them that's complaining is going to think that show is junk. Because you're really only making the show you want. You're not making the show that's for the public, the viewing public. Our responsibility is to make a show that hopefully the most number of people can enjoy and still can have, inside stuff, but it has to be a real show. It can't be what your fantasy of, what's Sonic doing today? Oh, Amy and Sonic are doing each other's toenails. There may be a guy who wants to see that, but the other 300 million people in this country are not into that.
They threaten our lives.
Yes.
That's actually like the Last Jedi thing, where there's a lot of fans who are just outraged at it, but it's because it's not what they wanted it to be like, especially Luke, and that they saw this as a really good thing. Yeah. But it's its own thing. It's its own thing.
Are we streaming?
I think we're still streaming, right?
Where's the camera?
Way down.
Okay, I want everyone here to turn around, wave to the camera, and say, "Hello, Beth the Shrew."
Hello, Beth the Shrew.
Because my wife is watching.
Okay, and I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you so much, everybody. This was a blast. It was a lot of fun.